Let's talk about the physical side of influence, power body language. As you get to know me, you'll find I love talking about nonverbal communication. The reason I like to explore the nonverbal side of interactions is because it's the missing ingredient in most of our relationships. Studies show that a minimum of 60% of our communication is nonverbal. That's through our facial expressions, body language, and voice tone. But we never think about our body language. After all, when we go into a meeting or on a date, we usually only think about what we're going to say. We rarely think about how we want to say something. And I want to change that. If you want to be influential, you have to use 100% of your abilities. You can't just rely on your words alone. You have to use power body language to increase your influence. I don't mean to nerd out on you, but this study I'm about to explain, in my opinion, is one of the coolest body language science studies out there. I'm about to show you how body language can not only change other people's opinions of you, but also how it can change how you feel about yourself. Let me show you how.
Researchers at Harvard Business School wanted to know if body language could affect others' opinions of us. The answer? A resounding yes. To test their hypothesis, the researchers had two groups of participants conduct mock job interviews. So one group simply went into the interview and gave their pitch. The other group had to pose in power body language for 2 minutes before walking into the examination room. The researchers had the interviewers rate the participants on overall performance, hireability, and speaker presence, things like being passionate and warm. The researchers hypothesized that the power posers, the people who had done power body language, would only rate higher in the speaker presence. They thought that the power body language would help with presence, but it wouldn't really help in the other areas. Now, this is the cool part. The results showed that not only were the power posers rated higher in speaker presence, higher than anticipated, they were also rated higher for overall performance and hireability. So power body language does in fact make you more influential, and on multiple levels. So this study brought up a couple other questions. Researchers then wondered, okay, if power body language affects the way others perceive us, could it also affect the way we perceive ourselves? And the answer is an amazing yes. Here's the experiment that they designed. First, they split the participants up into two different groups. They tested their saliva, and they had each group do 5 minutes of posing. In group 1, they had them do power posing, like we talked about in that first study, and I'm going to teach you about in a second. High confident poses. In the second group, they had them do low confident poses, or low power poses, and they had them stand in these positions for 5 minutes. Then they asked them to gamble, and they tested their saliva again. The researchers wanted to know, would these power posing and low power posing people gamble differently, and would their hormone levels change? The hormone in their saliva, would it be any different? Now, before I go into the specifics of what happened, I just want to give you a very, very brief hormone lesson in these two hormones they were testing. They were looking at cortisol levels and testosterone levels. Very briefly and simplified, cortisol is the stress hormone. It is exactly what we don't want coursing through our bodies during an interview. It decreases our immune system, it increases our blood pressure, it's bad for long-term memory. Testosterone is the strength hormone or the power hormone. It improves our endurance, it sharpens our cognitive abilities, and it increases our muscle mass. It's exactly what we want coursing through our body in an important interview. So now that we have the hormone tutorial out of the way, let's talk about the results. First, the high power posers took 86% more risks, which means that just standing in 5 minutes of body language made them act differently. Now look at this craziness. So this is the chart of the testosterone changes from before the experiment to after. The high power posers had a significant increase in their testosterone levels, while the low power posers had a decrease in their testosterone levels. So the exact hormone that the interviewers needed, the testosterone, to get them thinking clearly and get their juices pumping, the low power posers lost, while the high power posers increased, which is one of the reasons why they did so much better in those mock interviews. And then the reverse happened with the cortisol. The high power posers had a decrease in their stress hormone, cortisol, and the low power posers had an increase in their stress hormone. So as they were waiting for the interview and they were standing in these different power body language or low power body language poses, the low power people started feeling even more stressed. Their low power body language made them feel even more low power, which then would affect their performance. These studies give us a direct link to increasing our influence. It shows us that powering up our body language, getting a little physical, not only helps other people perceive us as more influential, but it also helps us feel and act more influential.
Those studies blow my mind. You can use power body language to influence others and feel more influential.
Now that we've gotten through the science, let's talk about how to implement this solution into our daily lives. These are the low power poses that Harvard Business School had those participants do. Low power posing is when we contract our body. We push our head down or we bow our head, we roll in our shoulders, and we take up as little space as possible. High power posers do the opposite. The pictures you see in front of you are exactly what leaders do. We have studied leaders or alphas of social groups and noticed that they have completely different body language. Here's what they do. They're expansive. They take up space and they claim territory. They hold their head up high and up so their forehead is facing out or up. They keep their arms loose or by their side, and they roll their shoulders back so their chest is up or out. Now, there's only one note of caution here. High power poses can be a bit socially aggressive. You wouldn't want to walk into an interviewer's room and put your feet on their desk. They probably wouldn't like that. So these high power poses are what you do before you walk into a room to get your testosterone levels pumping. Here are the ideal power poses to do. So they're a little bit more modified than those really high power poses. You want to keep your arms loose. You want to have an open torso and your shoulders down with your head up. So again, those really high power, strong poses you can do in the bathroom before you walk in somewhere. I do them while I'm getting ready. And then these are the poses you want to do in the room. They're what increases your influence and your presence with the people around you. So here's a review of the steps that you can do to increase your influence. First, pre-power pose to get yourself in the mindset and get your hormones pumping before you go into an important event. Second, use ideal power posing when you're in the room with people. Leave your arms uncrossed, loosen by your side, put your shoulders back, and keep your head up. And 3, avoid low power posing. So don't contract in, cross your arms over your chest, tuck your hands under your legs. Any kind of contraction shows and makes you feel very low power. I know I only have one tip on body language in this influence course. And the reason for that is because I have 2 other full courses, one's even 3 days, on the power of body language. So these are just my favorite body language tips. I'm also going to include a video for you. It's a free video on 3 power moves in 90 seconds, as well as a bunch of other resources I put on my blog for free on using your body to increase your influence. Let me share how one of our readers, Liliana Gallo, used body language in her life. So she said that in her late teens, she'd always struggled to connect with people. Mostly, she would push people away or they would see her as paranoid. And sometimes she said that she came off as shy, quiet, or naive, which she is definitely not. Other times she said that people thought she was mean or judgmental. So she didn't understand what cues she was giving off. We taught her power body language, how to increase her presence so that she felt like she was giving off an authentic impression of who she was. Now she feels like she finally has control because she can go into professional or personal situations, power pose ahead of time, get in the right mindset, and show with her body that she's not naive, she can be taken seriously, and that she's not mean and judgmental, that she's open and warm. So I hope this little story helps show you that you're not alone if you are worried about how people perceive you, and that just power posing, as you saw in those studies, for even 2 minutes before you meet with people can affect how you feel and how they perceive you.
Now it's time to test your body language, and this is my challenge for you today. My challenge for you is to test your body language skills. Most people have no idea what their nonverbal is saying, so take our body language quiz and find out.